Hey everybody, it's your boy SergDragon, and welcome back to another edition of the Heavens Monsters podcast. With me always is Terrence, aka T-Money.
If you smell what the lion is cooking.
Today we're going to cover a double dose episode of Impact Wrestling, starting with October 29th. About to say 28th again. And, well, it's already Wednesday, so this week's episode of Impact showed, but I haven't seen it yet, and he doesn't watch it. Did you? So we're going to have to wait on that until I finish watching it. We start the show with... Hold up. There we go. Mara Fuji against the tag team champions, one half, Josh Alexander, with Ethan Page of the North. Ultimately, in this match, Marufuji wins, but Ethan Page gets in and it's a 2-on-1 situation. So that's issue in itself. We then have Knockouts champion Taya Valkyrie. See you tomorrow. Kiera Hogan and Madison Rayne versus Rosemary, Jordan Grace, and
Alexa Nicole.
Yeah. In a 6-woman tag team match. Ultimately, the match would go to the babyface team on account of the Knockouts champion getting pinned. Yep, that's her gear. So now it's even more into motion that Jordan Grace is looking for a title shot after pinning her. Next, we have RVD in his home, in his hot tub with his girlfriend, talking about why did he betray Rhino? And that more and more that he notices people are doing his moves, and even said that there would not be a Kenny Omega, and there would be no Daniel Bryan. Word for word. He mentioned those two specifically.
There wouldn't.
Yep. That there wouldn't be, because if there was never an RVD, and that he carried the show, AECW, the whole damn time. I was like, okay. I don't know, because I didn't watch it. I didn't have the channel at the time.
You had a station. Either.
Rhino later on comes out and says that he wants RVD and he wants to kick his ass. Simple point, plain and simple. Next, we have the Desi Hit Squad, Rahit Raju and Ra Singh with Gama Singh versus Rick Swann and Willie Mack.
ECW just bored it anyway.
Willie Mack and Rick Swann win the match and ultimately put the Desi Hit Squad to shame once again. I'm out of care. My head's out of frame. There you go. Next up, Ken Shamrock comes out and tries to explain himself on how he is going to move on from being defeated by Moose after Bound for Glory. He is then ultimately interrupted by an unexpected guest. Joey Ryans, the sleaziest man alive, who literally says, keep it sleazy. Case in point, he covers himself in baby oil, wears sunglasses, is hairy as hell, and keeps his lollipop in his front of his trunks during the match. He even makes a challenge to Ken Shamrock, calling him the most dangerous man against himself being the most dangerous manhood? His manhood? He's got a gimmick where he literally has the wrestler tell him, touch it! Touch it! Like, he's the opposite of Ric Flair. He wants you to touch his junk.
I was thinking about Venus.
Next up, we have Ace Austin versus Eddie Edwards in a street fight. Ultimately, sadly, Ace Austin, with the metal bar on the wrist again, backhand him and ultimately gets the win against Eddie Edwards. Mm-hmm. The title, I don't believe, was on the line because it didn't say title match. Su Yung as Susie is walking around the arena and just putting people at odds, wondering, where has she been? The last time we saw her, she was being hanged by Havoc and being sent to a hospital in a dire situation. So the fact that she's back not wearing any makeup and acting pure and innocent is just plain wrong. Just strange. You have the guys just say, give her. Mm-hmm. Deans? The Deans? Yeah. The Deaners. There they call it. The Deaners. Just looking at her like, what the heck? It's just weird. Johnny Swing hits on Alicia, but Ace Austin puts a stop to it. Ace finally persuades Alicia to have dinner with him next week. World champion Brian Cage versus Sami Callihan in a steel cage match for the world championship. Okay, that would go ahead and look up. Shoot, what was the next day? Can you look on your calendar?
What are you trying to look for a show?
Hold up. Okay, Tuesday. The 5th. Look up November 5th. Impact. While he looks that up, let me finish this because this... The week before this episode was the actual trying to catch up after Bound for Glory show on Access TV that we would have a panel where Brian Cage, as still the champion, makes his claims and what he's going to do, and Sami Callihan comes in saying that he demands another shot and he doesn't deserve it, but he has the OVE members, the Chris brothers and Madman Fulton outside Brian Cage, his home, and threatens his wife and his daughter. Yeah. So, sorry it took us 2 to 3 weeks to get this, but the match would be held in a steel cage, and it would seem that this match would go in the favor of Brian Cage because he was just gung-ho, but Sami Callihan, without any help from the OVE, they were banned from ringside, and ultimately it was just be Sami Callihan. And Sami Callihan, whether you like him, you hate him, you're disgusted by him, you loathe him, he got the job done. Your new Impact World Champion, Sami Callihan. Damn. And that wouldn't be all, ladies and gentlemen, because coming from the back onto the stage, into the ring, will be somebody who already has her eyes on the prize. Tessa Blanchard makes her claim to the World Heavyweight Championship. An unfinished business with Sami Callihan.
You know they're not gonna let her win the title.
We don't know for sure.
No, because think about it, it'll be bad business. All the male wrestlers will be angry about that. A woman winning a man's title.
Yep. The show starts with, surprisingly, OVE coming in. This is November 5th episode, ladies and gentlemen. OVE comes in and just straight up Sami Callihan saying, draw. Drinking that beer, the champagne. I guess they're mocking Chris Jericho again. And saying that drinking beer is a real man's drink instead. Okay. He called out Chris Jericho and saying that beer is for real men instead of drinking that bubbly like a pussy. I'm like, ooh. They called out Chris Jericho. He did that before on Twitter before. He called out Chris Jericho. He's calling him out again. I think they're trying to start a war between AEW and Impact. I think.
It's just with Chris Jericho, not the rest of the company.
Well, after that, we would have a match between Moose and Willie Mack. Ultimately, Moose beats Willie Mack with a no-handle jackhammer. Spear. This is where things get interesting. While she's getting prepared, Alicia Edwards ultimately walks into an area where she overhears Rito Scum and Ace Austin, the man who has been pursuing her for quite some time, finally slips up. And he and Rito Scum talk about what they've been doing and ultimately say that tonight is going to be the night he bangs Eddie's wife. And Alicia hears that as they go up the stairs, and she is just disgusted. Knockouts champion Taya Valkyrie, Madison Rayne, and Kiera Hogan argue after losing their 6 Knockouts tag team match last week. Taya is confronted by Jordynne Grace, who reminds her that she pinned her, the champ, and is owed a title picture. Instead, courtesy of the argument that was going on, instead she says that she's going to have a match with Madison instead. Michael Elgin versus Fallah Bahh. Previously on the episode I didn't mention because it didn't set here, we would have Fallah Bahh talk with the Rascals as they can't understand Fallah Bahh, and he says, "Bah!" He says, "Come on, man, we know you got more words than that." TJ. And they said, so they got that stuff and they got to make him talk, and he put on glasses and he started talking that he wasn't there for his bro, man. So tonight he's going to fight Michael Elgin and hopefully put him down once and for all. Sadly, that's not the case. Michael Elgin puts Fallah Bahh away once again and remains dominant. And now talk is being said amongst the commentators saying that Michael Elgin is without question a shoo-in for another world title picture soon, if this winning streak keeps going. Back to the issue of Ace Austin and Alicia Edwards. Alicia comes to him, and instead of confronting him about what she heard, she just tells him, why don't we just skip dinner? And she gives him her hotel number card. And Ace Austin is like, just licking his chops and shit. Oh, we know what's happening. We know what's happening. This is good. Next, we have Sami Callihan still celebrating his championship as he goes around and talks to Tommy Dreamer and says how he's a champ and he's an old fossil chump. Daggone it. Gabby Lauren interviews retaining tag team champions The North. They lay out a challenge for Marufuji to find a tag team partner, and whoever he picks, the match will have the tag team championships on the line. Just for the record, Josh Alexander said that. Ethan Page is like, why did you say that? Fine. We are the North, and we will defend it, he says. That's how confident they are. Mm-hmm. Not him. He was like, damn it, I know I got my partner, but damn. We then have Joey Ryan, the sleaziest, and the strongest manhood versus the most dangerous man, or the dangerous manhood. Oh, okay. We'll be right back. Okay, we're back. And Ken Shamrock versus Joey Ryan, as we said. Most Dangerous Man versus the Most Dangerous Manhood. And the whole time, Joey Ryan wants Ken Shamrock to touch his groin. At some point throughout the match, he actually grabs him and makes him touch it. And does his signature while someone's touching his groin, they can't let go. And he tosses him. Ah! Ken Shamrock ultimately defeats Joey Ryan with his signature ankle lock and makes him tap out. Ken Shamrock is now needing that and back on track as a wrestler. Hopefully he gets another shot at Moose, the dirty-handed tactic son of a bitch. Sami Callihan is still celebrating as Jake Chris mocks Daigen as he wears his freaking jersey, and ultimately a match is made between Rick Swann and Daga against OVE. We then have the Knockouts champion Taya Valkyrie with Johnny Bravo versus Madison Rayne for a 9-title match. Ultimately, Knockouts champion wins, beating Madison Rayne with the help of Johnny Bravo, throwing in a freaking plushie of a Pomeranian and lays her to Hall of Valhalla slam.
It's those type of plushies that you win at carnivals.
He's making it look like he's actually walking a dog, though. With a wire leash.
Or that toy store.
After that, coming from behind is Jordan Grace, confronts Taya on the ramp, and Jordan takes out Bravo while Taya retreats. Johnny Bravo, you get knocked out. Yep, Gamma berates. He's just talking down on Raju and Ra Sang, his son, for their poor performance in the Call Your Shot Gauntlet at Bound for Glory. Gamma introduces a new wrestler, and I cannot pronounce it for a hill of it. Bob Pinger?
Bahu Pinder Singh.
And his new protege and threatens that if they does well, he may replace one of them in the Dizzy Hit Squad. Like Desi. And we're back with another edition of What the Hell Sue Young. Calling herself Susie, Rosemary is confronted and is irate. Just
irate.
Thank you. Irate. Ooh. She mentioning what they did in the Dark Realm, taking away Allie, the bunny, and saying, doesn't that any of that ring a bell?
Remember I told you who her husband is?
Who?
Rich Swan.
Who?
Sue Young.
Sue Young and Rick Swann are married?
Yeah.
That's cool. Well, apparently, she's not happy that she's like, not happy that she doesn't remember a thing, all the things they did, all the wars they did. And right around the corner is none other than Havoc, the one who put her in that position. He's like, do I know you? I think we know each other. And she's wearing her mask. No, can't think of anything. Bye.
Yeah, she's the originator.
And she's like,
just so you know, her and Madison Rayne are the original Teen Impact Knockouts.
So, left to her own devices, we still have Susie walking around dressed up as a bride with no makeup, no nothing. She looks pretty. So, I can't say what's going on.
She's just trying something. Let's say that she's trying something new.
With the Desi Hit Squad and their new member, who I'm just going to not even mention.
Their muscle.
Mm-hmm. Versus Petey Williams. Petey Williams gets the win. And ultimately, the new protege is not going to be replacing any member of the Desi Hit Squad anytime soon. Oh, that's right. The referee in this match had no legs. And ultimately, Petey Williams gives him the assist, and we got a half 1-9. And then we got a 450 splash, followed by a 450 splash. That's pretty cool.
I'm thinking. I want to say it was an Army veteran, or he was born like that.
Yeah, no. He was an Army veteran, I believe.
Okay.
We then have the hotel room of Alicia Edwards. And Ace Austin makes himself comfortable, as she said, and told to wear a blindfold. And he's so happy. He feels, you know who it is, feels the hand across his cheek and says, "Oh, your hands are soft." As he's blindfolded, he says, "Thank you." Hey, it's Eddie Edwards, her husband. Bam, 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 bam. He gives Kenny the kendo stick and he says, "No, let me." And she starts wailing at him and he's chasing him out of the hotel room into the hallway. And she's still wailing at him. And then Eddie Edwards makes her stop. It turns her around and they just start kissing and they start going down on the ground and they're having it. He's like, "You people are crazy." And he's gone. And he reaches out and says, "Kenny, you can't hear this." Making it a threesome with a kendo stick. I'm dying, man. I'm dying. That was funny. I was waiting for that. Thank you. Hey, you. We needed that. We needed that storyline. That got it. Oh, turn it back on. Damn. That was funny. Be right back. And we're back. Yep. Johnny Swinger talks to Petey Williams on how he can be his assistant and tells him to hold his bag. He said, "He ain't holding crap. I ain't taking your bag." And then interrupted by Sami Callihan and OVE's party. It's just like, okay, damn, these guys are just going everywhere. Rain is still okay, blah, 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 blah. Yep. Ultimately, it's Tommy Dreamer blaming Sami Callihan for ruining the first premiere episode on Access to TV for Impact Wrestling. And then it becomes a 4-on-4 tag team match between all four members of OVE versus Tommy Dreamer, Rick Swann, Tessa Blanchard, and Daga. An extreme celebration match. The match goes on and on and on and on and on and on. These guys are just tearing it up. It's a hardcore style extreme match and they're just doing everything possible. You got tables, ladders, chairs, this, that, all that. And ultimately, now things are put into perspective where at first we thought, because of how it ended last week with Sami Callihan winning the title from Brian Cage and Tessa Blanchard marking her turf, the match didn't end with Tessa Blanchard pinning Sami Callihan. It ended with Rick Swann, former family member of the OVE. We've seen the history before, but now with a win in that match over the new title champ, eyes are now looking to Rick Swann as the next number one contender, not Tessa Blanchard. Mm-hmm. How that works, I don't know. I guess we'll find out. Will it be a triple threat, or will Tessa versus Rick Swann? Is something going to happen in the near future? With that said, that's it for the show. And I don't think I did this. So first up, a shout out to our boys, Xavier Hill, Mike Henry, Andre Mitchell. A link to their YouTube pages will be a link down below as always. And a remaining shout out to the Heaven Monsters podcast crew, Renee, Farrell, Chris Petrie, and Delvin. Any last comments, my brother?
Not really.
Nothing?
Nothing.
Nothing? What if Tessa Blanchard becomes a world champion? For real?
I know the guy's going to complain about that. Mm-hmm. They're not going to like it.
How do you feel if Rick Swann became world champion?
I had to say this. I don't think he's ready.
How would you feel if what's his name? Sami Callihan stays the champion?
I can see it pretty good. He's like an evil.
He's a heel for sure.
Evil. He kind of reminds me of the evil version of the Miz.
Lee. That sounds like a compliment.
Yeah.
With that said, ladies and gentlemen, that's it for our show. Thank you for watching. If you like this video, give it a thumbs up. You didn't? Give it a thumbs down. Hit that subscribe button if you like the content, and hit that notification bell right there if you want to see another edition, which we will have tomorrow night. We will cover AEW 2 to 3 episode special, and we'll see what we can do. Maybe we'll even cover Raw and NXT, because today's Wednesday. It's NXT and AEW.
Yeah. I just think Sami Callihan, he needs to get rid of those other two members of the OVE. Because those two look like they're X Division wrestlers. He needs some like technician or brawler and grappler wrestlers.
Another thing we need to cover is the fact that I now have, I got to go back home and watch Full Gear, which is a pay-per-view by AEW. And Impact Wrestling had a special, so I need to look that up and see what I can find, see what anybody uploaded on YouTube, see what I can get. With that said, that's it, folks. Peace out.
Bye.
I'm SergDragon. This is T-Money. We'll see you next time.
Bye.